like the universe, comes together from lots of little bits. From seeing things, from connections.
From the marks on a pavement, a bag sitting caught in a tree.
The first splodges of rain on concrete. From a bus trip to Glasgow.
And a trip back, silent.
From all the millions of things that make up even one day on Earth. Earth.
A cacophony of sound. Radio waves. People. Traffic. Noise. Then up. Gone. Just the sound of birds swooping. Clouds flying by. Up more. More. The thrum of ozone. And then out. There it is. Earth getting smaller below. Silent. Spinning. A little bubble of blue ocean and white cloud. A gem suspended in the black of space.
Then out further. Our sun. Giant burning thing. Imagine standing near the sun, if you could, if you were fireproof. What would that be like?
Pull out once more. Past Mars. A little more. And there's a man. We can't see his face. Just the cut of the sun reflected off his helmet, encased in a spacesuit. Why would a man be floating off? We could call out to him.
But no sound would escape.
Space is a vacuum.
We are all lost in it.
The man. Lost.
Then back. Back, back, back. Quicker, quicker, quicker. Come on, come on! Flying back towards Earth. The wind, a sudden rush in your ears as you fly in.
Towards land.
A continent.
A country.
A town.
A street.
A house.
A house.
Mikey's eyes.
Addie's eyes. Open at exactly the same time that morning.
No one knows it. Not even them. But they do. Mikey sits up in bed. Hits his head on Pluto. It swings. He stills it. And looks down the line of planets hanging from his ceiling, stretching towards the sun. The sun made from a mixture of bubble wrap and plaster of Paris. He imagines it burning. A tiny ball of flame suspended in his room. That would be cool. Around the planets are the stars. Polaris, Sirius, Alpha Centauri, 95 of them hanging from the ceiling. Silver foil catching the light. And there, in the middle of it all, hangs his dad, a small plastic astronaut. Mikey touches his dad with a thought. I hope you're okay up there. Godspeed. That's what they said at NASA and in books. Godspeed. And with that, he's off.
Ad has brushed her teeth, combed her hair, and looked at herself in the mirror for 8 seconds. She had managed to ignore her little brothers for the whole of breakfast, which was a miracle, really, as they kept firing imaginary lasers at each other. She had just stared ahead and imagined that they were dead. It had worked. Now, she has laid out everything she needs for the day ahead. There are 2 baseball caps, which she has personalised herself. They have playground monitor written on the front, and 2 ears like the fox's ears stuck on from the top. She didn't really know why, but they looked amazing, and they definitely stand out in the playground. Then there are her handheld warning signs, attached with elastic. One was red and said no, and the other was green and said yes. They would be used to encourage good behaviour. And finally, her rules. Her dad had let her print her 30 copies to stick up around around school. Number 1, no running or dangerous behaviour. Addie would decide what was dangerous. 2, no litter. 3, climbing frame time will be managed by a rota. That way everyone would get a turn. 4, no throwing balls into girls' faces. 5, no loitering. It was brilliant. She was going to be the best playground monitor ever.
Mikey walks through his kitchen with his mum's cup of tea. He likes to be so smooth that it doesn't even ripple. He takes a step into the hall without raising the cup and walks along the hall like that. The hall half painted. One wall a kind of pink, and the other bare plaster with patches of colour everywhere. His mum's testers. She'd never decided which colour to do it. The front room ahead. Boxes overflowing out of it. You couldn't actually get into the room. It was like the opposite of a room. The box heads. No. Up the stairs. Careful. Careful. His mum's door. Not a drop spilled. The doors. Already done. His mum is sitting up in bed. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Halfway to his mum, he is waitress, floating the tea in towards her. She has to do the same. She nods her head slowly, gives the thumbs up. He launches the tea towards her. She takes it. And the spell is broken. Gravity back. Thank you, Mikey. Mission control, mission accomplished. I've washed your shirts. They're on the dryer. Yes, ma'am. And don't forget the money for the school trip. It's on the table. Message received, Houston. Ending radio contact.
They both leave their houses at exactly the same time. Addie power walks. She hardly notices the other groups of kids meandering their way to school. She wants to put her rules up before anyone else gets in.
Mikey meets up with Steve, and the two of them walk in silence. Both of them trying to think of a name for their band. Blue, says Steve. No, rubbish. Tropical Delights. Mikey just laughs. Tropical Delights? We could wear Hawaiian shirts. Why? Don't know. Just thought of it last night. What about the box heads? Squid face. They pass by an old woman. Tartan trolley. They've been doing this for ages now, but nothing seemed right. They were playing the school fair in 2 weeks, and they still didn't have a name for their band. Gordon joins them, silently pulling up beside them, one foot on the pedal ready to hop off. He just rolls along next to them. All right. Hey, anything? Asks Mikey. Smorgan. Just thought of it last night. It's all of our names put together. Stevie, Mikey, Gordon. Smorgan. Mikey waits to see what Stevie will think. Stevie is silent, waiting to see what Mikey will think. Mikey starts to nod his head slowly. He looks at Stevie, who starts nodding too. Soon they're all up about it. Yeah, I like it. It's okay, isn't it? Yeah, it is okay. It's better than okay. It's cool. It's really cool. Smorgan. Smorgan. Smorgan! Yeah. Now they just needed some songs to play.
Break time. Addie rushes out into the playground. Her assistant, Alison, trailing behind, still trying to get on one of her handheld warning signs. Come on! Come on! Alison had made them late. Alison was always making people late. Addie had explained the new rules, had even acted out a possible incident where someone had fallen and cut their elbow. But Alison just stared at Addie through her big glasses, fuzzy hair making her baseball cap go all wonky. Alison, do you understand? Yeah, needed monitoring. You! She shouts at the boy who is running too fast. She goes up to him and shows him her red warning sign. No running! It's dangerous. You might knock someone over. He stops and starts to walk. Addie feels a warm glow. It worked. She was really helping people. Then she notices behind the old shed a knee sticking out. Then gone. Someone was loitering. No!
Sitting in the long grass behind the shed, Mikey has just told Stevie and Gordon the first verse of the song he's been writing. It's amazing, Mikey. Really? Yeah, it's brilliant. How did you think of it? I don't know, just Godspeed. I love it. Is it about your dad? Mikey nods. They didn't really talk about his dad anymore. When they were little, they would talk about him all the time. They had even turned Stevie's garage into a space station for him and slept in there in silver blankets that Stevie's dad had got at a marathon. And in the night, they had all laid their heads outside the door, and Mikey had shown them the stars where his dad might be. Now, though, they never talked about it. But sometimes, when Mikey was quiet, they knew he was thinking about him. Have you heard from him? No. He'd be too far away now. It would probably take years for a message to come back. NASA will have stuff, but that's what the song's about. What it must be like to be up there, alone, trying to survive. The others all nodding, thinking about it. Yeah. Sometimes I imagine him floating outside his ship, looking down at Earth, millions of miles away. We must be tiny.
What are you doing here?
The boy scrambled up, having seen this girl standing at the corner of the shed listening.
It's dangerous. This whole area is off limits.
Says who?
Says me. I'm playground monitor.
So?
So, there's no loitering. Haven't you read the rules? And that's when Addie notices. Right where the boys have been sitting. Crumpled up piece of paper. Her rules. Who did this?
The three of them shuffling.
Who threw this away?
None of us. They're stupid anyway, says Stevie. Everyone thinks so.
Addie caught for a moment. Did people really think they were stupid? They're making the playground safer.
They're making the playground boring. And why do you have ears on your hat? You look like an idiot.
Well, at least I'm not sitting around wasting my time talking rubbish.
We were having a band meeting.
Yeah, right. You're not a band. I heard you talking about spacemen looking down on Earth, floating off. You're like little kids.
You don't know what you're talking about.
You're just like my little brothers, still making up stupid stories. You're like babies.
We were talking about Mikey's dad. He's in NASA. Stevie.
Your dad's in NASA?
This girl suddenly on him, her eyes boring into him. Yeah.
Whereabouts?
Mikey just shrugs. He can't look at her. This girl asking all these questions now, going on and on. Was his dad American? You had to be American to be in NASA. Was he a scientist? What did he study? Mikey doesn't know. He doesn't know what to say. This girl going on about the NASA website now. How he could look up all the astronauts. How they could do a project on him. The whole school.
Well?
What?
Your dad. What's he like?
I don't know.
You don't know?
Mikey sees her face change, looking at him differently.
You're making it up.
I'm not.
You are. Look, your face is going red.
Shut
It's
up.
not true, is it?
Shut up.
Well, why don't you know about him then?
Because it's top secret.
No, it isn't. It's because it's not true. You're making it up. You're talking rubbish. It's all
I
lies.
said shut up. With that, he pushes her.
She falls over. A sharp shock as she hits the ground.
The others are all surprised.
Addie is surprised. She sits there a second, looking up at this boy. Startled. Why had he done that? They stare at each other. And then he runs away, his two friends following. Addie looks down at her hand. pulls it from a puddle. Her warning sign bent over. The ink of the no starting to run. All of it starting to run as her eyes fill up with tears.
That evening, Mikey sits in his room hunched up against the bottom bunk. In his hands is an envelope. Inside the envelope is a small plastic bag, and inside that is dust from his dad. He'd got it in the post. His mum had given it to him from his dad. It was moon dust. He remembered when he was 6 opening it up. He'd only ever opened the plastic bag once and touched the dust with one finger. It stuck to him a bit. He didn't want to ruin it, so he left it in the bag, looked at it sometimes, but mainly he just knew it was there. This dust his mum had given him. Now he looked at it. He felt stupid. Suddenly, he went hot with it, this dust. Looked just like dust. Sand, worn away rock. The envelope had no marks on it. No American flag, no eagle and stars. It was just a plain envelope. His mum had put something in a plain envelope and given it to him. And then there was a postcard from NASA, but nothing written on it. Why hadn't Mikey thought of this before? He just never had. Stupid. Then his mum comes in. What are you looking at? Nothing. Just a project for school.
Break time, and everything is working well. People are walking more calmly. The climbing frame rota has been a success. Everything perfect. And then she sees him down by the back gate. That boy from yesterday. Looking around. Opening it. Addie goes to hold up her new warning sign, shout no. But no sound escapes. She just watches as he slips away. Gone.
Inside Mikey's house, it's so quiet. Quieter than normal. Just being here this time of day, not normal. He runs up the stairs 2 at a time, stands at his mum's door, pushes it open. He feels wrong. It all feels wrong. Why is he even here? He doesn't know. He just has this feeling that there's something. He goes to her drawers. Nothing. Her clothes, jewellery, her tights, nothing. Looks about. The wardrobe. Standing with the doors open, he runs his hands over her clothes. The fur coat. The rough feel of sequins. He puts his head between her clothes and smells, like he did when he was little. He can smell his mum. Opens his eyes, and there, below, a tin. Old, quality suit. Sitting on the bottom of the wardrobe, he opens the tin in his lap. Inside are things to do with life, things his mum has kept. An old newspaper clipping from the 80s. Susan Harris raises £140 through non-stop disco punk. His mum, she's funny, alive. More things, a photo of his mum on holiday somewhere warm. Then there, underneath it all, a piece of paper, small, red-edged, important. Michael Bay, 15th of September 2001. His birth certificate. He slowly reads across the columns. Mother, Susan Bailey. Father, Anthony Bailey. Father's occupation. Not astronaut. Not even anything like it. Father's occupation. Plumber.
Addie sits at her desk. She can't concentrate. It's annoying. She keeps staring out the window. On a piece of paper, she has written life plan and underlined it twice. She loves underlining. Underlining and hole punching are probably two of her most favourite things in the whole world. She looks at her life plan. Empty. Without taking her pen off the piece of paper, she draws a star, then another one. Then she draws a line that goes over the whole page and finally scribbles a big black mark in the middle and writes, "Addie McAllister is an idiot." She scribbles it out. In a tree opposite her window, Addie sees a blue plastic bag caught in the branches. Then she sees him walk past below. That boy. Connection. She feels it between the bag and this boy. He looks empty too. The wind blowing through him. She creeps downstairs. Why, she should be working. And then she's out the front door. What is she doing? She's following him. Addie doesn't go to the garages. Other kids go there, gangs of them. Today, she's here, and it's exciting. Hiding behind one of the bottle bags, she sees him lean against one of the metal roller doors. He slides till he's sitting with his back against it. Takes something out of his pocket. An envelope, something inside. He lets the envelope fall. Litter. Then, left in his hands. What is it? He stares at it for ages. And then, he lets his head fall back. Hits the metal of the roller door. Just gently. Then again, the metal vibrates. And again, harder. Until he's banging his head over and over. He doesn't know what he's doing. You shouldn't do that!
He stops, still. Caught. two of them stare at each other.
You'll hurt yourself.
So?
Your brain will rattle around inside your head and swell up. People don't know the dangerous things they do till it's too late. It's like smoking. If people could see the inside of their lungs, they wouldn't do it.
What are you talking about?
She's not reaching.
Are you following me?
No. It was too late. She'd left that pause. The liar's pause. Yesterday I saw you leave the playground. What were you doing?
None of your business.
I should have reported you.
So report me. I don't care. Just leave me alone.
Daddy can't even watch as he walks away. She's embarrassed. Her? Why is she embarrassed? Why is she even here? Then she notices on the ground where he'd been sitting a little bag. Dust or something. Hey! But it was too late. He'd gone.
Outside his mum's room, Mikey stands in the dark. He can hear his mum breathing. He wants to call out to her. Just say, "Mum," and she'd tell him come in, like she always did. Whenever he was scared or tired, he'd climb on her bed and she'd stroke his hair, his cheek. And she'd tell him the story of how she met his dad, the beach in New York, how she tripped over him stargazing in the sand, how they'd fallen in love, just like that. He goes to knock on her door, but he can't. His hand just stays frozen in the dark.
Adam lies in bed. On her desk is the little bag of dust. It was amazing when you looked close. All the little bits in it shone, reflecting the light. Now, as she lay in the dark, she couldn't help but think it glowed. Just a bit.
Downstairs, the glow of the computer lights up Mikey's face, the tap of the keys as he types it in. Nothing. Nothing. And there, halfway down the second page, Anthony Bay, heating and plumbing.
Adam was late. She'd slept in. Not like her at all. Rushing out the door, her mum calls after her, waving something. The money for her school trip. Andy had forgotten it. Then out.
Mikey has packed his bag. A Mars bar, an apple, a pair of headphones, a t-shirt. That was the simplest. He looks at himself in the mirror. Tries to look older. A hat, that would do. Then out.
Then out. 2 meters away, Mikey walks out. Then gone. Round the corner. Not the way to school. What's she supposed to do? Nothing. She's already late. It's got nothing to do with her. She follows him. She sees him coming out of a cafe with a t-shirt on. As he can't believe it. He's skiving off school. No!
Run! safe. She didn't see. And then she's there, scrambling on. You can't believe it. What is she doing?
The driver's staring at her. What is she doing? And that's when it happens. She gets out the money for her school trip, pays for a ticket to Glasgow. Everything ruined.
When Mikey looks up, she's there, sitting at the front. Idiot. He puts his headphones on, but he can't stop himself from checking on her. And whenever he does, it feels like she's closer. She is closer.
She's been tactically moving up the bus, seat to seat. A teenager with a hat on. A man with an earpiece who keeps laughing into it. Then an old lady, a little dog in her bag. Till she reaches Mikey.
What?
You should be at school. He just looks at her, puts his headphones on. She sits next to him. The journey takes an hour.
Then they slow. Come off the motorway, stop at the lights. Mikey can see the buildings big all around. Glasgow.
When the bus stops, Addie doesn't know what to do. So she gets up. As they get to the front, a man stands up. Hey, aren't you Dr. McAllister's daughter?
The two of them freeze.
Addie, isn't it? Addie can't do anything. She just looks at him.
Mikey is pushing Addie off the bus. Go, go!
The man jumps off behind them. Hey!
But they're gone. They're lightning fast. The two bundling each other together through the crowds. Crowds and crowds of people. Then Mikey shouts, in here! They dive into W.H. Smith.
It was like a film. Like the kind of film where they get away from the baddies. Are you okay?
Fine. You?
Yeah.
Did he follow us?
No idea.
They wait.
And wait. Addie finds the stationery aisle. It calms her looking at the staplers, the rulers, the different kinds of pens. And there, in front of her, a whole glass cabinet filled with dictaphones. She loved dictaphones. Her dad had one, and sometimes he would let her record things onto it. Just stupid things like her laughing or saying hello. Her dad. What would he say when he found out what she'd done? She feels sick. Flushes hot and cold like that. We have to go back right now.
Go then. I'll be fine.
This boy on some kind of mission. Addie can see that. Staring at an A to Z of Glasgow, trying to memorize it. A slip of paper in his hand. An address written on it. What's that?
This girl. Would she never give up? My dad, I think.
They have to get a bus. It crawls out of town. Way out to where the houses get further and further apart.
The day hot now. Too hot.
The bus pulls away and we look across the road. Quiet estate. New build. Each house with its own garage and green bit of lawn. Everything neat and tidy. They go in. Round a long, curvy road. And then there. Birch Drive. Same as on a piece of paper.
Stay here.
And she does. Stands still.
There was the house. Mikey walks up to it. 35 on the door in brass. All perfect, all obvious. It couldn't be clearer. He pushes the bell. The last time he'd seen his dad was in the middle of the night. He'd woken up and caught his dad looking at him. Strange. He had a coat on, and Mikey asked where he was going. He looked around his room and picked up a star Mikey was making. Just a piece of silver foil. He stuck it to the ceiling and said, "Here, I'm going here." And Mikey had believed him. He'd replayed it so many times, and now he wasn't even sure if it happened, if it had just been a dream. He rings again. Nothing. An empty house in an empty street on an empty afternoon. He turns around. Addie, this girl. He smiles to her. She smiles back. He starts to walk towards her. And then a car comes up the road behind her. Slow, like it's in an advent. Silver. Rises from the heat haze behind Addie like those adverts. Gets closer. A man and a woman. Mikey is halfway between the house and Addie. He stops, stuck on this car like a magnet, a force. He watches it pull into the driveway. That driveway. The second as it stops. Handbrake on. Then the doors open like they're in slow motion. This woman getting up, tall, blonde. She has boots on, nicer than his mom's. She opens the back door and unbuckles a little boy. His hair blonde too, curly. He's carried from his car seat and put onto his feet on the ground. He wobbles a bit, looks up at his mum. She kneels, takes the little boy's hand and then walks around the car. And then a man has got him. Unclear at first, but now Mikey can see him, opening the boot. He has a wax jacket on, the keys jangle in his hand. He pulls 2 bags of shopping out, closes the boot, and that's when he turns. Sees Mikey staring at him. The two, this man, connect. Mikey's heart stops. He cannot breathe. The whole world stops. This man, his dad. From the house, a voice, her voice. "Tony, can you bring the bags in?" Yeah. He turns around, looks for the boy standing there, but he's gone. Walks back inside and closes the door. In the driveway outside her house, Addie can see her dad's car. Her dad, who was never home before 7 o'clock, who says that work is the most important thing in the whole world, who must be home because of her. She braces herself, goes in. Mikey closes the front door, stands for a second. You can hear his mom in the kitchen. Upstairs in his room, he looks at the stars hanging from his ceiling. He finds the one that started it all off. He knows it, has always known it. The most special star. He pulls it down. He holds it in his hand. He crushes it. And then it breaks. Something in him. He's pulling at them all the stupid bits of silver foil he has hung on. The perfect, most delicate universe. Claws it, heaves and breathes and pulls until he's standing, panting. Addie's dad has told her off more than ever before by not saying a thing.
He just says, go to your room. Now she sits, her certificate staring down at her, awarded to Addie McAllister for highest achievement. She can't even look. Why had she gone to Glasgow? Outside a rumble of thunder. Way off. Something gathering.
Mikey's mum is at the door. She looks shocked. Mikey? He looks daggers at her. What are you doing? Leave me alone. Mikey, I said, leave me alone.
In the tree opposite her window, Addie sees the plastic bag thrumming in the wind. A flash of lightning. The world electric.
His mum sees the devastation in his room. What is it? What happened? Looking at him like that, like she cared.
Then all of a sudden, the bag is attached by only one bit. She stares at it, hypnotized.
I know about Dad. I saw him.
One little bit.
He sees his mum crumble inside. Can't say anything. Just looks at him.
She stares.
All that stuff, NASA, moon dust, you lied.
This plastic bag.
No, Mikey, it wasn't like that. And then she tells him. You were just a little boy when your dad left. You were so sunny. I didn't want to hurt that. You climbed on the bed and you said, Dad has gone to space. You were so excited. I didn't know what to say, so I just said, yes. It just stayed.
Go.
And that was it. That was really it. The truth.
Flying up and over the house opposite. This plastic bag trying to tell her something. What?
His mum is looking at him, wanting to know what would happen then. He pushes past her, burrowing down the stairs and out. The first drops of rain start to hammer the ground. Wet splotches on concrete. A few seconds of stillness. Then his mum runs out, pulling her coat on. The rain unleashed. Mikey!
Outside she can hear someone calling. Loud. Desperate.
Mikey!
She looks out the window. Sees this woman there blown about in a mat. Scared. Then everything pours in. The whole day and the trip to Glasgow. Watching Mikey coming back towards her after seeing his dad. That's why she had gone. Because she needed to help him. She had to find him.
In the far end of the garages, Mikey sees the security light come on. Then, her shoes. She sits next to him.
She sits.
Won't leave.
Won't leave.
Just sits.
I came to find you. Sorry about your dad.
And that's enough. This girl next to him. Mikey can't help it. He cries. He just cries.
And Addie does. Nothing. She just sits. Until eventually he stops crying.
Sorry.
It's all right.
You must think I'm so stupid.
No. Really, I don't think you're stupid. I think you're quite good, actually.
What?
You're quite good. Quite clever, actually.
He looks at her. The beginning of something. A smile, maybe. Thanks.
Addie sees the streak of tears down Maggie's face. She searches for a tissue. She always has tissues. finds something else in her pocket. Brings out the little bag of dust. What is it?
Moon dust.
It's amazing. Have you ever looked at it really close? It's like it glows.
He sees her. This girl fascinates him. He takes the bag and does something he's never done. He opens it up and pours a bit out into his hand. Then he blows it. So it goes everywhere. A last flurry of wind taking him, sparkling through the air. They watch.
Then he pours the whole lot out, spinning around, the dust flying up into the air. Catching the light from the security lamp, it shines.
And for a second, the two of them see it in the air all around them, next to the garages. Their own universal stars, suspended.
They look at each other. Just the two. Then up, go up, a speck of dust rising through the night. And we can see Mikey and Addie getting smaller below. Mikey's mum and Addie's dad just reaching the garages.
And then up again. They get smaller, smaller and smaller until they're gone. Their town is sparkle of lights.
Then up further, a dusting of cloud now. Cold up here, just the thrum of ozone. A speck of dust rising further, faster and faster until we're out. Out above the tiny planet spinning far below. Back, past Mars, little lower, and there's
A man.
and a woman.
They see this particle of dust passing them by. A present from somewhere. Maybe a grain of sand from a beach in New York.
They watch the tiny planet spinning far below. A cacophony of sound. Radio waves. People. Traffic. Noise.